So in my last video, I talked about my love-hate relationship with campfires when I'm out camping. And we looked at my campfire pit and the accessories that I have to make me fall back in love with having a fire when I'm camping. But there's one thing that I was missing, and that one thing is what I'm here to talk about to you today. So let's get stuck in. When you're out camping, there is nothing worse than having to collect firewood. It's probably my most hated thing, but it's a necessary evil to have the perfect campfire. So part of having the ultimate campfire is, of course, having enough wood to keep that ultimate campfire going. And that is why I've gone out and got myself a Ryobi Electric 18v Brushless Chainsaw. There is nothing worse than having to go and collect firewood when you're out camping, or having to get firewood at home, throw it into your car, ready for when you go camping. So I made the decision a couple of months ago to go out and put some time and money into looking at chainsaws and what they could do for me when I was out and about in the bush. So when I started looking for different saws to take camping, I looked at all different options. I looked at hand saws, I looked at axes, I looked at petrol chainsaws, and I looked at electric chainsaws. But there's something about an electric chainsaw that just makes it perfect for going camping. Now, electric chainsaws have a few pros about them for camping. They're lightweight, they don't require you to carry any fuel or any two-stroke oil, and they just work really, really well in a camping environment. They also make little to no sound, which, to be honest, is a bit of a pro and a little bit of a con, which I'll get into later on. Now, why did I choose the Ryobi chainsaw? To be honest, I chose it because it was cheap. I wasn't sure how much I was going to use this. I wasn't sure how well an electric chainsaw would work, and I didn't want to go and blow $1,000 or $2,000 on a chainsaw. This Ryobi chainsaw was $259 from Bunnings, and I already had a couple of batteries at home for my Ryobi tools at home that I can use when I go out camping. Now, Ryobi have two different electric chainsaw models. This is the 18v brushless version with a 12-inch bar. They do have a 10-inch bar version, which is slightly cheaper, but I found that for the extra $100 or so, that the 18v brushless one was the way to go. It offers more power, it has a larger bar, which means that you can cut a larger diameter wood, and so far I haven't been disappointed at all with this saw. So to make this the ultimate camping electric chainsaw, I of course had to reach out to Drifter and I got an electric chainsaw bag. This is just their standard electric chainsaw bag, and it works perfectly to fit this Ryobi 12-inch bar electric chainsaw in it. Opening up the bag, you see there's a few different compartments and a few different things that I have in here. First of all, the electric chainsaw bag comes with this separate small bag, which is perfect to keep spare batteries and your charger in. It just makes sure that no dust, no dirt, no grime will get into the electronics of your charger, so that's a great little feature that Drifter have. The next thing this bag has is a little section at the front, which is where I keep my bar oil, and I also keep a good quality pair of leather gloves, which is very important when you go out into the bush chainsawing. Finally, the main beast is the chainsaw itself. Now, this tray that comes underneath is a separate part to the bag and a separate part to the Ryobi chainsaw, but it can be purchased from Drifter. I believe it's called a chainsaw tray, but I could be wrong. I'll leave a link in the description below to all these parts, including the tray. It's just great to hold the chainsaw in case it ever gets a leak of the bar oil. The tray will capture that leak. It keeps all the kind of oil and grime and stuff in one place. Unstrapping it, and this is what you get. This is the chainsaw. This thing is ridiculously light and ridiculously easy to handle. On this side here, we have the bar oil section where you load in the bar oil. At the front, you get a cover for the bar to make sure that no wood and dirt and crap falls into your bag. And you can see that it has a great, nice little bar there with a good chain, and you also get this chain tensioner here, which is really, really easy to use. If the chain ever gets any slack or becomes too loose, you can just tighten it up using this wheel. The battery sits on this side, and simply your standard Ryobi battery that you see. This is a 5 amp hour lithium 18v battery. I think these are only like $100, or you can buy them in 2 or 3 packs, but most people will have Ryobi stuff at home, so really easy just to grab that universal battery and click it in there. Once that's in, the chainsaw is really, really, really well balanced. You can see it doesn't want to lean back or tip forward. It's very, very, very well balanced, which makes it much easier when you're using it. In terms of controls, you have your normal trigger here, but you also have this safety latch here. So you must pull the safety latch down before the trigger will activate. You also get a traditional style chain brake on the front of this, which is very, very good and a very handy safety feature. I've seen a few electric chainsaws on the market now that don't have this, and that is a little bit of a concern in my opinion. The idea behind this chain brake is that if you get any kickback or anything from a bit of wood that you're cutting, that it will flick back, your hand will hit the chain lock and it will click off, locking the chain into place so you can't get hurt. Firing it up, it's really easy. Pull your thumb down, pull the trigger, make sure the chain brake is off, and away it goes. Now, as you can see, it is deadly quiet, and I say deadly quiet for a reason. The one thing that I've noticed using this chainsaw is that it's very easy to become complacent when you're using it because it's not loud like a normal chainsaw. A petrol chainsaw is so loud, it sounds like it's going to kill you. This chainsaw is so quiet, you just become quite easy and relaxed around it. You have to remember that this is just as deadly as a petrol chainsaw, so please take the proper safety precautions when using it. Now, when I talk about safety, it's just a matter of making sure that you have enclosed footwear on and that you have some kind of eye safety. For an electric chainsaw, because they are so quiet, you probably don't need to worry about earmuffs or any kind of ear protection. It's just really important to remember that when you're using this, it is something that can very, very easily hurt you. So I'm just going to cut through a little bit of wood here so you can see how well the chainsaw goes through wood. This isn't the biggest wood that this chainsaw can cut, but it's kind of the perfect wood for a campfire. So we'll show you what this is like. Now remember, I've got enclosed shoes on and I've got some protective eyewear. Let's get this thing going. Now, the most important thing with an electric chainsaw is that you have to remember it doesn't have as much power as a petrol chainsaw, so you can't force it. You just need to wait, take your time, and let the chainsaw do the work. This is a bit of old sleeper that we've got here, and you can see that it chopped through that with no worries at all. This time, rather than cutting through a sleeper, we'll cut through a bit of tree here, which simulates, being out in the bush and chopping up a bit of wood. Again, eye protection, guys. Very important. Look at that, nice clean cut. Chainsaw works an absolute treat. Now in terms of battery life, I charged this battery when I first got the saw. I've used it probably 4 or 5 times out camping, and this battery is still 3/4 charged. So they last a long, long time. I do carry a spare battery just in case, but as you can see, it easily chops through that wood, and it's a great little accessory to have when you're out in the bush camping. So I cannot recommend the Ryobi 18v Brushless chainsaw anymore. These things are bloody brilliant when you're out in the bush camping. I hope I see a few more of them on my next adventures out into the bush, and I hope to see a few of you guys out there as well. Thanks everyone, I'll see you in the next one.